Oregon with Chicago Cycle Network. And man, I think we're in a roll. We're getting some big celebrities, superstar in the house, and you guys see him, he's smiling, and you get to know who he is in a little bit. So again, thanks everybody who have been subscribing, supporting me, encouraging me. This is what it's all about. This is what makes Chicago a beautiful place to be. We support each other, and we have people out there who are going above and beyond to make Chicago a beautiful place to bike in. You guys have seen some of the interviews I've done before. A lot of people you guys know, and you know that when we talk to somebody, they're legit, they come from a good place, and they're really rocking the city, rocking the culture, making the Windy City a beautiful place to be in and to be a part of. And today I'm here with somebody, man, I'm telling you, true story. First time I met this guy, it was at Wednesday Night Ride, okay? We're in the Carmack Sprint, and everybody know what the Carmack Sprint is, okay? And we were trying to, organize and centralize to launch a sprint at about 30 miles an hour or so. And with about a mile to go, I saw this guy at the front, and he just rode off the front of the pack. And I'm like, who is this guy? So when we came back to 7-Eleven, I was like I was amazed. Okay, that day I became a fanboy. Please don't tell him. I'm a big fan of this guy, but don't tell him. All right. Whenever I see him, it just lights me up to see somebody who's just legit talent. When I say talent, I mean talent. Of course, a lot of hard work, and you will get to find out all the different things that he's been doing. But my God, he is the real deal. Okay, and we're gonna get to know him. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate those words.
Henry, introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'll try and follow that up a little bit. My name's Henry. I've been in Chicago now for a little over a year and a half. I moved here from Boulder, Colorado, but I'm originally from Milwaukee. So I've been riding now for about 10 years, riding and racing. I started way back when I was 14, I think.
Wow, long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. And it kind of at that point, I just fell in love with it, and it really just consumed my life from that point out. Honestly, really haven't done much in terms of becoming an adult outside of the cycling industry. All the jobs I've ever worked have been in cycling. I continue to race and train. So yeah, it's been a really big part of my life ever since it was introduced to me at a young age. So
wow. So it seems like all the amazing people I know for cyclists from Milwaukee. I think Simone is from Milwaukee.
I think she's from Brookfield area. I mean, I'm from Wauwatosa, just outside of Milwaukee. But yeah, there's a lot. The culture there, the cycling culture is huge.
I think Skylar from Legion, she's from Milwaukee.
Yeah, Skylar and Sam. Yeah.
Okay, so Milwaukee is Milwaukee is the place to be, not Chicago.
I mean, in Milwaukee, it's similar. There's a huge cycling culture, and it's really positive. But obviously, Milwaukee is not nearly the size of Chicago, so it feels much bigger in Milwaukee sometimes. Just because, there is a lot of it. There's a lot of really, the River West 24 is a huge Milwaukee event. Obviously, a Toad. It feels pretty prominent there. So it was honestly a really great place to grow up with cycling, even though when I was growing up in Milwaukee with cycling, I wasn't the biggest fan. Just dealing with the winters and the riding, I would see other riders out west or in the south in the winter, getting on, great riding in the good weather.
And I bet that when you were riding, because that's not pretty long ago, that was before the time of Zwift and all those things.
Yeah. I remember when Zwift was first introduced, I got so giddy because I was 16. And I couldn't believe that there was going to be a cycling video game. But when it first came out, I remember trying to use it, and there was nowhere near the functionality and features that it has today. So it wasn't really much, but it definitely helped. But yeah, I was always jealous of those kids down south, getting in those good miles. But looking back on it, and now riding in Milwaukee as an adult, I really enjoy the riding and the scene there. But growing up as a teenager, I was not the biggest fan. Not that I didn't like it, but I would always kind of complain as I was riding the trainer another day. So
I find that the trainer it takes some special type of skills and people to be a trainer.
Yeah.
But if you want to get the job done, and if it's too cold outside, and you just have to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things you just have to accept it. It's either you go into the summer or the early like May or so, and you just accept being a little undercooked, and you use some early racing, and you use that good weather to jump into some form, or you put in the work on the trainer through the winter, and then you can come out flying. So it's just like way kind of balancing your expectations and what you want to do.
Yeah. Plus you don't want to sit on the sofa all winter long and then get a beer belly.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the thing. I feel like most riders go in the winter cursing the trainer and they kind of neglect it. But after 6 weeks or so, they just miss biking too much. They just miss riding their bike. So then everyone kind of starts getting back on the trainer, even though they're not the biggest fans of they'd rather be riding their bike than not riding their bike.
Exactly. Yeah. I know that because when I started, I've been biking for about 5 years now. So it took me some time to get into the whole, trainer mode. And I went from like a dumb trainer, and then I discovered Zwift after the pandemic. And then I was like, all right, this is the place to be. And then I think my longest ride on Zwift was 6 hours and 9 minutes nonstop.
Yeah, no, that's different gravy. I can't handle that. I'm not doing 6 hours on the trainer,
but no, because I want to do the I think it was the London PRL.
Yeah, that
which
route,
is like the Foxhill box like 100 million times, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and I want to get the badge, so I just stuck it out and I did it.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
So let's get to know a little bit more. So what size, what length crank arm do you use on your bike?
Right now 170s, which is new for me.
What were you riding before?
172.5s.
Why the switch?
I just wanted to go shorter. I've ridden 165s in the past on TT bikes. I just didn't really want to go that short for a road bike. I know it's all the craze these days.
I know, that's what I'm asking.
But as a taller rider, and I got some longer legs, I just figured 170 would be appropriate. And maybe after a year on 170s, maybe I'll drop it down. But so far, I've been loving the 170s. I know it's not that big of a difference, but it's also one of those things that just bringing that crank a little shorter in crit racing is helpful, just because
hitting the curbs and stuff.
Yeah, hitting the ground. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still figuring things out. I still rock like 175.
Yeah.
and like one, I think 172 is 0.25 is the lowest I have, but I have like most of my bikes either 175 or 172.5.
Yeah.
Again, it works for me. So
yeah, 100%. And I think for most people, like that 170 range, I mean, of course it's like height dependent, right, as well. But that 170, 172.5 is going to work for most people, really. And like, I know, again, there's that obsession with looking at like riders like Vingegaard and Pogacar. Exactly. What cranks are they using? I got to use those cranks.
Exactly.
But if you look at a wider scope of the World Tour, I think more than half the field is still on regular size cranks. And it's just people love to like, find that new trend and find that new equipment to put on their bike.
Yeah, I'm looking for people to find a new trend. We're like, you know what? I'm going to put in the hours that Tade and all those guys are putting in.
Yeah, 100%.
And forget all these little...
Change my genetic structure.
Exactly. Just do the work, and
100%.
You'll find that you put the work in, all of these little things is a bunch of gimmick that you don't need per se.
Yeah, I think it's part of it where like people just like the tech side of biking a lot, right? Like people love the gear and the equipment, even though, their justification for purchasing it and using it is those minute watt savings. But really, it's just that you love the gear. I love the gear too. Like, if you have the budget and you want to, bling the bike out with ceramic speed, everything, 165 cranks and like carbon fiber head to toe on the bike, go for it, right? But I don't think that that's really going to make or break your performance,
I at the level I ride at, I agree with you. Because, I mean, I think what I do is hanky-panky stuff. If I save 10 watts or 4 watts on a bike ride, touche, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to win a sprint on the bike path with some guy in a Rafa kit and go home and
yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I beat a guy in a Rafa kit on the bike path today. Like,
hey, a win's a win. So.
But shoot, hey, a win is a win. And if you get brownie points to get home, hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. So are you a tubeless guy, or do you still use tubes on your bicycle?
Tubeless now. I was running tubes probably until like 2022. And then honestly moving here really was the big push, because the road quality isn't ideal and there's a lot of glass and things. So like picking up a tiny puncture with tubeless is just easier. You don't have to really worry about it. Like I'd rather run tubeless and, if you get a little hole in the tire, you lose maybe 5-10 PSI and then it seals and you can keep going, rather than buying inner tubes and having to keep multiple on you in a ride. So now that I've converted, I love it also because you can run a little lower pressure for crit racing, which just helps a little bit. So yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, I don't think it's like night or day, tubeless tube in terms of road feel, but I think it's just a little bit more convenient.
Just more like a convenience thing. That's why I haven't been converted as yet. I still like my tube, and I like the feel of like stopping and changing my tire and in the tube. And,
I mean,
and chatting and taking a break because I'm too tired.
That's the one thing. Like when you are on tubeless, if you get a big gash and something really fails, you're kind of SOL. I mean, you can try and get a tube in there, but like it's covered in sealant. Your rim and your tire just gets all wet and sticky with all the sealant. So trying to get a tube in there it's a nightmare. So that's the one thing that tubes are still better at, I think. Yeah.
So and I go on rides now. Like on Saturday, I went out for a bike ride, and one guy, he had a flat and his tubeless, didn't have inner tube or anything.
Yeah.
So and it just his sealant just didn't work because of where the thing the puncher was, and I was the one who had to like drain out all that stuff and had to change this thing and put a tube in it and helping, and it was hard.
It's difficult.
Tubeless are hard to come off, right?
Yep, that too. Yep.
So we finally figured it out and we were on the road again. But man, maybe one day I'll convert. And I hear about this low pressure. I mean, I'm like a 95 psi guy. I mean,
95.
I know, right?
Yeah. What tire width are you running then?
I'm running 28s now.
Okay.
I went from I was like, 25 is awesome, and then people were like, 28. I tried 28. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So finally, I have some 32s on my this bike. These are 32s on my Mag one.
Yeah.
So I'm trying out experiment. I'm still learning about these different things. But I'm doing 28s, but 28 is like
20 or 32. I jump between the two, depending on like race timing and things like that. So
what would you do for crits? What would you do for crits?
So for the faster, bigger crits last season, I ran 28s. For more local crit racing and events like Rough Road, I was on a 30 in the front, 32 in the rear. And the only reason I was doing the 30, 32 is because my bike at the time in the fork, I could only clear a 30. So I would have gone 32, 32, but I had to.
So would that be a rim brake or a disc brake?
It was disc. Just the clearance was 30.
Oh, it's surprising that disc could only clear like 30 for a friend.
Sometimes the like really, race focused road bikes, even disc frames still are limited. Yeah. So
Gotcha. Yeah. So why did you go from Colorado to Chicago?
Fair question. My girlfriend is in a grad school program at DePaul.
Gotcha.
So I met her out in Boulder. She went to undergrad there, and I just frequented Boulder a lot for altitude training.
Mm-hmm.
And so we met there and started seeing each other. And then when she got into DePaul for her program, we moved to Chicago. So
there's nothing wrong with that. My wife moved and I have to follow her and all the different things because I'm originally from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Well, doing my training there, and then my wife moved back home, and then China said, hey, we need to get back together and live close to each other. But where she lives there's nothing in my industry, so Chicago was the best place. So I moved from Miami to Chicago, and in Miami I was mainly a runner, never a biker because I couldn't afford one. and as you can see now, bikes I have because I finally got a job where I can actually afford bikes.
There you go.
I went from zero to many bikes, as you can see, and I still have more that's tucked away in my in-laws' house.
There you go.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
So been biking since you're 14. What got you into biking? What was the?
Yeah. My dad was always a recreational rider growing up, and he would watch the tour every summer. So I had some exposure growing up to cycling. It wasn't completely foreign to me.
Gotcha.
But he wasn't racing, really too seriously. And I was just playing every sport under the sun. I played organized like baseball, football, soccer, swimming, volleyball, basketball, like everything.
Well, you did everything.
Yeah. And like nothing was really sticking for me. I just wasn't really good or passionate about any of the other sports. And I was on my way home from a baseball tournament, and we were up near Grafton, Wisconsin, which is the first weekend of Toad is there. And so my dad was like, hey, there's a bike race. Let's go stop by and check it out. So we just stopped by for the pro men's race at the end of the day. And so it's like sun setting, you know, and this huge crowds and 150 riders just zooming by. And I was just like, oh, this is what biking could be.
You're like, I'm in.
Yeah. And also when we were there, I saw the presence of Team IS Corp. And IS Corp does not exist anymore, but was a junior development team as well as a professional women's team based in Milwaukee. And they had a lot of infrastructure to get kids on bikes and make it accessible. So I saw their presence there, and I saw these kids on these really fancy race bikes, because right away I understood that the barrier to entry is pretty high. Like getting a fancy bike to race on is, you know, it's a lot of money. So I saw that team there and then kind of took note of it. And later that winter, we looked into IS Corp and I signed up, and that was it.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. So I heard, maybe it's rumors or something. So did you do race overseas and stuff?
Yeah. So
talk about it, because that's legit. I heard you've ridden like about 1,005 million races overseas.
Yeah, I
not that many,
but
I heard you have some experience.
I started first international race was when I was 17, but that was in Canada, so that's not over any seas. But
it's still not the 51st state.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's
but when I was 18, my last year as a junior, I started to get the opportunity to race abroad. I raced that year in Ireland and South Korea. And then from there, I didn't get to race overseas again until 2021. I actually signed with a French team and raced and lived in France for the whole year.
Wow.
Which was, it was a crazy experience for sure.
So were you like the breakaway guy, the sprinter, the climber? What was your purpose on the team?
Yeah. Depending on the race and the course, typically just breakaway guy. We did a lot of one-day races, very limited stage racing, but yeah, breakaway. I mean, just trying to make the race hard, really. I mean, I didn't have to try that hard. Those races were very, very hard already. Yeah, it was eye-opening for sure. The level over in Europe is just, it's different gravy. It's something, it's ridiculous. But it was great exposure, and I got to race against guys that went on to the highest level of the sport, which was my goal all along, is to make it to the pinnacle of the sport, World Tour. And I clearly I didn't make it, but seeing the kids and racing against the kids that ended up making it kind of gave me that understanding of really what's required. And honestly, it's like that last little, 3-4% that you need as an elite level rider to make that jump it's the hardest to get, but once you get it, it's there. Yeah.
So back then, like, what was like a training regimen for you? Like back then so you guys had like a team, so you got a structured training and all the different things, or?
Yeah. So most of the training you do as your own individual. So I had a coach still, from the US. So, I mean, I was training about 20 to 25 hours a week.
Whew, that's a lot.
Yeah, definitely a good chunk. I mean, it was just, that was my whole, I had no other priorities or responsibilities, So all I was doing was like waking up, eating a bunch of oatmeal and carving up and getting out on the bike, doing my training, coming home, stretching, doing some body weight work, and putting the legs up till I went to bed. Did it again and again and again. So
wow. And you were saying all that stuff wasn't enough to get to that 3-4%.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of just I only gave myself a year, so I really could have given myself some more time to see if I could have made that jump and gone to that level. But yeah, it's that last little bit that I don't know if it just comes with time, and it hits differently for every person, right? Some riders will get to that level when they're younger, like 19, 20. They show that talent, they have that skill, and that's when World Tour teams will pick them up. Some riders a little later, 22, 23. But you still you have a short runway there, because once you jump out of under 23s, you are, it's very hard to get recognized and get a contract at a high level. So I gave myself 1 year when I was 21. That was my last time giving it the effort. It's also mentally, it was really draining. I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah. I tried to do like 18 18 hours a week. And I mean, that's with like family and everything, that's already,
Yeah.
it takes a toll. But
Yeah.
but at least when I go there and I'm with these younger boys, I can hold my own because I mean, I'm no spring chicken. I mean, I'm close to my mid 40s already. So
Yeah. If you can get like even 20, 25 hours, it's not even just about like sometimes it's just volume. It's also doing the right things and making sure you're just hitting all the things you need to hit to make sure you're ready to go. But,
yeah. And I still don't know what that is because I still have never trained for anything. I just ride my bike.
Yeah.
I want to go hard today, hard tomorrow, next day. I just do it. And then I get beat up and I'm like, okay, I go on a group ride and I can always hide in the back and I can contest sprint. I can do whatever, but I've never doing any hard training or any structured training so far in my life. Never. With 5 years. And again, for what I do and the level I ride at, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, it's personal preference, really. Okay. If you want to do it, you can do it.
I think I can go to Lighthouse and I probably will keep up for as long as I can. And that is enough for I go to the Wednesday night ride or whatever. But yeah, I probably don't ever race because crits, I've seen the crashes, I've seen the crit drama videos with my friends, and I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. I will away from the sideline and watch you guys do what you got to do. So
for sure,
it's just a next level and a next breed that I can't even imagine. So you say you lived in France for 1 year. Did you end up picking up French?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, I had to.
So are you almost fluent or?
Then I was. I mean, I would say like conversationally fluent. Like I could get by in a lot of conversations, but reading French was difficult, and I couldn't write French, of course. But yeah, the first probably 2 months, I rarely spoke a word. Like the first, I think probably 4 weeks I was living there. I lived with the manager of the team. And we would have dinners together where we would just both have our phones out with the translator app, and we would just like have a conversation and like show it. Yeah. Wow. So it was tough because it just felt really isolating. Because where I was in France is just kind of middle of nowhere. So honestly, my American ignorance, I expected more English to be spoken. Or at least more English to be understood, maybe.
But that wasn't the case.
No. Like even if I was at like the bakery or the grocery and I didn't know a word in French and I would try and sub in a little bit of English within French, no, wasn't happening. So yeah, it really forced me to learn it. But this was back in 2021. And without that practice, I've definitely lost some of it.
And then when you came back with this beautiful French accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus your name is Henry, so hello, my name is Henry.
Yeah, got a lot of that. Yeah, my name was different for that year, for sure.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, so are you a big fan of like riding on indoor training, or are you more kind of outdoorsy, or what's the... Can you do like a 3-4 ride on the trainer?
Yeah, I can. I don't like it. I mean, I think the trainer is a great tool. I'm not going to rave about the trainer. I'm not a huge trainer fan, but if you have big goals and if they're early in the season, it's just something you have to accept. For example, last winter going into the 2024 season, it was 606 Racing's first year as a domestic elite team. And we had a big goal of bringing some riders to Pro Nationals, which was in May. So, I mean, as you know, it's just April here and it was 40 degrees today. So to be in race shape and to not only race shape, but race shape to compete at an event like professional national championships, you have to be really fit really early, which means a lot of time on the trainer. So that this past winter, I guess last winter, I was probably doing about 15-hour weeks in and out on the trainer, which was terrible, but honestly, I got through it just with that like pie in the sky goal of professional nationals and being fit for that race. Without something like that, I have a really hard time of staying super consistent on the trainer. Like this year, I'm not going to be going back to professional nationals, and most of my racing is later in the summer this year. So I've been really slow rolling the trainer time this year.
Did you get on? So did you guys miss that? He said 606.
Yeah.
He's on team 606. And if anybody from the Windy City know what the team is, you will know that Henry is the real deal because not anybody make it to 606. Okay. I only made it to 606 because I'm not on a team, but I was able to buy a jersey because I support the team. That's why I got a jersey, but I'm not on the team. So just in case if you guys see me a 606 jersey out there, I am not on the team, but I support local. Okay,
Hey, you
so
never know.
I never know. But please, for people who don't know, tell us about 606 and what's your role in 606. Do
Yeah.
you have like a specific role in 606 team?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still relatively new. This 2025 is going to be my second season with the team. So I got approached fall of 2023. I was doing PJ's cross practices. And some of the guys there were asking me if I wanted to join. So last year was my first full season on 606. And yeah, I mean, it's just a really great group of local riders and racers. And now it's from my understanding, it's really, they're just trying to grow it. I mean, I jumped in at a great time, like domestic elite men's squad and building out a huge women's squad as well, and trying to be competitive in both the professional men's and women's fields across the Midwest. So it's been super cool to be a part of. I'm honestly just really grateful that they wanted to take the chance and bring me on.
Well, from what I can tell you, and you're in a good place, and 606 is where you should be. And
yeah, 606. Yeah,
for all the guys who have seen who have actually worked really, really hard on going 606. I mean, I am so proud of like all the people on team because I know the guys on the team, and 606 they're legit.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are next level, and I'm really looking forward to see what you guys have coming up for 2025 and beyond because it's a really nice stacked team, and I think you guys can even compete with Legion and Blaze, all those guys. Now,
yeah.
I hope you guys kick their butts.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Corey, and look, you guys are my people, but still, man, I gotta represent local, man. 606, they're coming.
We'll see. We'll see. Definitely trying to grow it. I mean, this year we're taking on more riders outside of Chicago too. We got a couple riders that aren't living in Chicago, so that's a step forward too. And just in terms of being competitive on a national scale, sometimes you kind of need to bring in some hitters from outside of Chicago to help, build a team up and have enough people to get around all the races across the country.
Yeah, well, for sure. If I was like about maybe 18 years younger, I'd probably try to get in 606.
Oh, heck yeah.
But I'm old, man. I'll be in the master tier if I join 606. Plus, I'm not that fast, so I will just watch you guys from the sideline and watch you guys control Lighthouse ride, control WNR, and you guys, I'm like, look, because I saw you guys on Saturday when I was heading out. I saw you guys coming on Elm, heading back towards the Bunny Trail. I'm like, all the 606 jersey right at the front. Wow. Everybody was like, yeah, we'll just stay and watch and let them do all the work.
I've actually yet to do the Lighthouse ride.
Really?
I've never done it, just WNR. But I know like a bunch of my teammates get
Lighthouse is really nice. It's a longer ride. It's kind of punchy, but then they settle. So once they get to about the fort, it becomes very settled, and then people kind of go. But you don't have to worry about. But it's once they make that hit Sheridan after coming up Tower and hit Sheridan right there. My God.
Yeah,
it's just like everybody's just like, what are you guys doing? But then once they get to the fort and they split up the fort, then they get to like Sheridan, then get settled, and then going west, it's like much more good. And then
steady.
Up St. Mary, it's more steady and good. And then of course, when they get to like Independence Grove coming east, it's a sprint point.
Again,
so it's like,
yeah.
And then going back down Waukegan, get a little bit punchy. But overall, it's a really fun ride.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's on my list. I'm just not typically a morning person. I mean, I get out and train at like 8 or 9, but not. I mean, I'd have to leave my place at like 6:15 to make the ride. So sometimes,
it's 8 or 9, man. When I just moved to Chicago and I was trying to go to Evanston Run Club, and they started running at like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, that is late. Because in Miami, by 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm already got like 5-6 miles in already.
Yeah.
And then by 8 o'clock, I'm actually back in bed or chilling already or going to get to work. So,
100%. So that's the same, like, I mean, cycling to Arizona, and I'm sure it's Miami too for cycling and running, but they get out at crazy hours.
Yeah. That's why I love Cortado.
Yeah.
Those guys, I leave here like at about 5:15 or so, 5 o'clock, depending on how much I want to do, and I meet those guys at 5:45, and I can go get my miles and then come back home and take the kids to school, and we're all happy and good. But late, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock start, that is late. Plus my wife on the weekends, I have like a maybe noon if I'm pushing it, then I get in too much trouble. But I try to be back home at least by 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I got family.
Yeah,
so.
Occasionally I do the same, but yeah, like a 9 a.m. start for me is the best because then I can wake up, like just have my coffee in the morning, slow roll breakfast, make sure I'm all good to go, and then get out there.
Well, maybe once you get a family, then all that stuff will be.
Oh, I'm sure.
You'll be like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this.
I'm sure,
so,
100%.
So take your time.
Yeah.
So, man, we've covered a lot. We're getting to learn Henry. If he's still fluent in French if he wants to be. He's like top of the line, all the good stuff. So when you just moved from Colorado to Chicago, what were some of the challenges you faced? Do you have any challenges that you face, and how do you overcome them? If you have any, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
like integrating into the Chicago culture.
It was it wasn't like super difficult, and part of that is because of biking. Having something like that where you can find communities all around the country, really regardless of where you're living, was super helpful. But there was a little bit of a learning curve in terms of the difference of the cycling cultures between Boulder, Colorado, and Chicago. Boulder is very, very serious. I mean, half the people that live there are professional athletes of some sort, whether it be triathletes, gravel racers, professional road riders. So the group ride scene and just the cycling culture there is very serious. It's very strict. So my first WNR, when we end at 7-Eleven and there's 45 people in a parking lot all drinking cases of beers, it was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but honestly a great learning curve.
You're like, this is weird. You guys are weird.
No, I mean, it's just something that would never really happen in a place like Boulder just because there's just a difference in culture. But I just really enjoyed how positive that was in the sense of just, I mean, one, it's fun to drink beers in the parking lot after a group ride, but just like everyone made me feel like a part of the community right away, which I really enjoyed. I think sometimes in Boulder, and don't get me wrong, I still love Boulder, but there is a little bit of judging that goes on about because it's such a high level. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of, that thought process of you have to be that level to ride with us and do group rides with us. And clearly that's not the case here. And I really
that means I'll never get in a group ride in Boulder because I'm way too slow.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that I even stay clear of in Boulder just because they're so brutally hard. But anyway, I still enjoy Boulder. It's just a different culture. And I really, really enjoy the change of pace.
Chicago, you can find what you're looking for. As I always say, you have your intense workout, you got your social group, you just want to enjoy it and just don't take it too serious, man. WNRs we kind of beat up each other, but other than that, man, we're on Lighthouse, right? But other than that, man, we're just easy going, and we're all like, I mean, I know the reason why I can even do this channel is because I ride with everybody in Chicago, and they're always welcoming to me, like, wow. Like, of course I join. I mean, I'm a member. If I can become a member of a riding group in Chicago, I'm a member.
No, there you go. No, it's great.
Like, oh no, they're always welcoming.
No, it is. It's super nice, and I mean, it's just something that I think can be taken for granted, and especially like I just didn't even realize that cycling culture could be like this. You know what I mean? And in the sense that not that it's not accepting other places, but here it's over the top in a great way that they are always welcoming. And no matter what group ride you stumble into, it's not a problem.
Exactly. Never, any group you meet here, as long as you don't be a twat waffle. You will fit right in and do what you're supposed to do and, call the holes out and, read the room, you'll be just fine. That's why Chicago is just like one of the coolest place. So any plans for 2025? Like, will you have any big thing? I mean, are you going to try to beat Taddy at Barry this year? He's going to be at Barry Ruby, right? That's what I heard. You're going to go try to beat him?
Right. I wish. Nothing too crazy in terms of racing. Little less than this past year. I'm going to be targeting the Memorial Day weekend down in Iowa, so Snake Alley and Quick Start Criterium. I really like going down for that. Getting as much local racing in as I can, although I did just skip Autobahn because I was too nervous about my race shape, so I already missed one of the local races. But anyway, I unfortunately I'm not racing Toad this year, but it's because I'm going on vacation, so it's a trade-off. And then hopefully a little bit of Chicago Grit to kind of end the summer off. Nothing huge in terms of big races nationally, I don't think. Last year, again, I got that Pronats experience, and I think once was enough
for you.
yeah. It was brutal. It was really fun to experience that, but the level there, I just can't. I mean, I can't compete with riders like Brandon McNulty and Nielsen Paulus. So
yeah, I heard that name's Paulus, but I heard that name so much. Like
yeah. I mean, I think at least 2, Nielsen and Sean, and maybe Brandon. Those were the 3 World Tour guys at Pro Nationals, and they were all on the tour like a month later. So yeah, it's fun to race against those guys and get that exposure. But I mean, I was doing some of the best power numbers I've ever done, and I got just destroyed in that race because so you can't compete with that level. So it was fun to do, but this year I'm gonna skip out on that.
And I mean, nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you take a couple step backwards and just kind of watch things play out and find where fitting. I mean, as we age, we're no longer spring chicken anymore. We start like putting life into perspective.
For sure.
So I think you're at that phase where you're like, okay, I need to get my life in perspective. So
yeah, definitely.
So what do you do? Because I see you're wearing this Jack Rule shirt, but what do you do outside of biking? Like, what do you do for
honestly,
work, career path?
Yeah. Honestly, not much, in the sense that I work for a software company called Training Peaks. So it's a coach athlete software. So it allows coaches and athletes to communicate, track, plan, and organize their seasons and trainings. So that's what I do 9 to 5 every day. So I'm still in the space.
And is that the thing I see on your Instagram, that the training thing you're involved with? Is that the same? Because is that the same or is it different?
That's different. I also coach a little bit for fun with Ignition Coach Co. So it's a coaching group. So I coach a handful of athletes on the side as well. That's more for just kind of personal enjoyment more than career-wise.
So we just learned he's a coach.
Yeah.
So you guys looking for a coach?
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. But it's coaching for me. I really enjoy doing it on the side. One, because I like the idea of coaching being something that I do for fun rather than I need to do it to make money. Because then I can be a little bit more selective in terms of, what kind of athletes I'm working with, and I can keep a smaller roster to make sure I'm, giving them the attention that they need.
So you do like nutrition stuff and depending on what you're looking for, like what's that?
Yeah, I personally don't. But we have a nutritionist with Ignition that I can refer them to work with. But no, I pretty much just handle the week in, week out training schedules for
so they come and say, look, I want to compete with Taddy at Barry.
Yeah.
Give me a training plan. All right.
Yep.
This is way
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, most athletes will come in and they have specific goals, and if I think I can help them achieve those goals, then we go for it.
Yeah, and I think I've heard about Training Peak before. I've heard about Training Peak.
Yeah,
I think I know people who actually uses it.
Yeah. I mean, I believe we sponsor every single World Tour team, so it's widely used at least at the high end of the sport. It's a very in-depth software, and it's really like coach athlete. So if you're a rider that is training day in, day out, like you have structured training, you have workouts, and you have a coach, it's an app that it's a must use just because of the tools and the analysis that you get, and also the communication back and forth with your coach. But for more casual athletes, I think there's still a space for them in Training Peaks. Absolutely, there's still a lot of data and a lot of fun you can get from it, but it's just not as prevalent in that space yet, which hopefully is soon. But
yeah, I've been trying to train, but I'm not peaking. I'm just going. I'm peaking downwards.
Oh man, no,
so I need to one day figure out how I can train so I can peak. But for me, like when it's cold, like my body just can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's warm outside, like in the mid-May, June, July, my God, I am just like, give me 95 degree weather, 100.
Mm-hmm.
I am okay. People are like, oh, this is. I'm like, this is perfect. But
it's funny
when it's cold, my body just feel lethargic.
Yeah, I feel the same way though. I do the heat. I handle the heat really well, and I do not handle the cold at all.
Like if it's like 6 to 5, I mean, I'm okay, but I just don't feel like I'm at my best shape.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
give me like 85, 80, 75. Like I'm my body's like, yeah, let's go. And it's
Absolutely,
just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So you've been here for a little bit over a year now. Is there any like place that you really like enjoy riding here? Like any streets that you just really enjoy riding in Sheridan, maybe somewhere down?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say Sheridan just because that's the road I take the most. But I think that's the road that everybody takes the most to get in and out of the city.
Have you ever gone up north to like towards the border and go like on Hunt Road or something? Have you ever gone that far up north?
I've done a border run before, but I just did pretty much Sheridan up to like North Chicago and then on the bike path up and then back down the same way.
Okay, so, we need to get you. So there's a really, really, really fun route. You can go up like the normal lighthouse, go to the fort, take Everett to Elm, West St. Mary's.
Okay.
Go to like Independence Grove, go up I think that's Gurney or something, and then you can take like Hunts Road all the way back up to the border.
Okay.
And then come across.
And then come back down.
And then come back down Sheridan. That's really fun. And it's just when you ride for like 9 miles, no stop signs, no street lights.
That's
open roads.
That's the hard thing about that's the hardest thing I think about being a cyclist in Chicago is that for example, like a 2 to 3 hour day of training, it's really hard to get anywhere where you can kind of get out and get on roads like that to get some like quality, like for interval purposes, to have uninterrupted streets and roads to get the work done. That's probably my biggest gripe with the city is it's just suburb after suburb. I mean, I live close to Wrigley, so I'm pretty deep in Chicago. So it's just, neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, and then it's suburb after suburb after suburb. But I do like that St. Mary's loop.
St. Mary loop, the cemetery loop. That's
it's really nice. I do that. I forget the name of that road. You go St. Mary's and you cross the. There's a town line there. That stoplight.
At the end of St. Mary.
Oh yeah, like halfway through it.
That's halfway through.
So when you go for the roundabout,
it could be Atkins.
Yeah.
At the roundabout. You make a right roundabout.
No, I guess if you're coming from east to west and you go through that roundabout and then you turn that right turn.
That's St. Mary's.
That first stoplight.
Oh, by I think
like the Plains River area or River Trail.
Yeah, something like that's where the horse stable is.
Yeah, on the right there. Yeah.
So the good one you could do is just pass that one a little bit more and make a right at Old School.
Yeah, that's what I do. So that loop on Old School. So obviously you have that light, but going out there, I mean, it's relatively close and it's like 3 hour day.
You can keep on going north and make a right on Atkins.
Okay.
And Atkins will take you right back to Waukegan.
Oh, okay.
Then you can take Waukegan down to 176. Then take 176 east and then jump on the Bunny Trail. And then take, which is like a 9 mile from 176 all the way back to Lake Hook on the Bunny Trail. It's like 9 miles.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice trail. You'll have like a few streets across.
Yeah.
We're gonna have like nice stretches of uninterrupted road and the Bunny Trail right there. So.
Yeah, I'm still learning.
I've done so many roads and loops up north. I know like all the places.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm for sure still learning.
Yeah, like it's like all the roads on Zwift. I know like all the roads on Zwift from memory.
Oh man, yeah.
Because I've actually done all the roads on Zwift.
Every route.
Hey,
congrats. That's some dedication.
Well, there's one that I haven't done. It's called Hilltop Hustle, and it's because it's not released to the public because it's only for event. But there's an event coming up on Thursday, which I think I want to.
There you go.
I want to do it out of that.
That's crazy.
I've done every single route.
Wow, I could never. I mean, I've done a chunk of the probably between 10 to 40 mile routes, probably most of those. But all those big routes that are 50, 60, 70, 80 miles plus, there's no way I'm doing that.
Yeah, I've done some of those maybe more than once.
Yeah. The full what's the PRL?
PRL I've done now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All of the PRLs and whatever I've done them all.
Because, that's crazy.
Because it keeps it interesting because this same route over and over. Like I don't see how people do like Tempest over and over. I need some mix.
For sure. Absolutely. I do too, but I just you couldn't get me to ride for that long on the train. That's what I would get. The route's nice, but after 2 hours.
So you still don't have a family as yet and everything like that. But when you have a family, for example, if I'm on a trainer inside and I spend 6 hours, My wife can never say, "Oh, you left the house for 6 hours." I'm
Yeah,
here.
there you go.
I'm here.
True. Yeah, but you're locked in. And I don't know how much help you're going to be.
But I'm here.
True, you are here.
She can't say I left the house.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fair.
here. So I got to figure out these little things as I go along to make her. But yeah, my wife's a cyclist too, so she understands.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
I try to work around. I don't go crazy. And I try to either early morning or sometimes I'm at work and I'm like, I'm gonna come home early so I can get my ride in.
Yeah.
Or while I'm riding, I have stuff in the oven cooking and all these little tricks. So learn these tricks now because once you start all those different things,
100%. Yeah,
it gets a little bit tricky.
Absolutely.
Really tricky. But yeah, so I mean, thanks for joining. So one more thing, like, so what's your motivation? What keeps you going? Like, what is that little that keeps you going?
Yeah. At this point, I was thinking about it when you sent the questions over in advance. I think it's just because I really like riding my bike. Because for the longest time, I thought it was just racing and competing. And obviously, understanding I knew I had a chance to make this my career in that. Back in the day, I was like, okay, I can dedicate myself to this huge goal, right, of becoming a professional cyclist. So that kept me going for so long. And then when that goal and I didn't achieve it, I still found myself back in the sport, back training, back riding, just because I really enjoyed it. There wasn't really anything that was there's not one single thing that's keeping me at it other than I just really like to do it. I like the freedom of it. I love the exploration aspect of it. I just, regardless if I'm going to be racing or doing anything at a high level, I'll just continue to ride because I get so much enjoyment out of pedaling a bicycle around.
Nothing wrong. Hey, and I joke. I mean, I have the same sentiments, and I told my buddy that has a bike shop here, Evo, and I said, look, man, if I get too old and I can't keep up, I'm gonna get an e-bike. I said, don't judge me. Because I want to be out there. The keys, I want to be out there. Okay?
Exactly.
I see many people out there on e-bikes, and when e-bikes show up, it makes a group ride fun too. I mean,
for sure.
If you can't keep up or you want to keep, get the
I'm a big e-bike fan. I know there's a lot of hate out there with e-bikes, but I'm a huge fan. People on bikes, I don't care what bike it is.
Exactly. And I know Trex has some really nice looking road bike, e-bike.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if I get to a point I can't keep up,
there you go.
I'm gonna get me one.
That'll be me one day too.
Judge me if you want, but I'm gonna get me an e-bike.
Yeah, 100%. As long as you're out on your bike.
Exactly, especially with my kids, because now I'm better than my kids. But once they get faster, because I know my kids, once they start biking, they get faster. I'm like, I need to keep up. I don't hang out with you guys. I'm gonna get an e-bike. I'm gonna sell all my bikes and buy one
e-bike. Yeah. There you go. Hey,
and I'll be out
as
there.
long as you're out on a bike, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, doing my thing. So yeah, Henry, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I learned very much so much. I'm really happy that you were, you took up the. When I messaged him, he's like, of course. I'm like, what? I was like,
yeah, of course. No.
Like seriously though, I'm being honest and legit and sincere right now. I'm a huge fan of yours.
Oh, appreciate it. No, thank you very much.
Legitimately, that day, I still remember at WNR, and I was like, wow. And I've even gone on other rides with you, I think at WNR, and one day we were struggling, and you closed the gap for us, and I was like, thank you, man. I was like, I think that was the day that we went on the WNR, but we went on the old touring route.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my, these guys are just ripping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just couldn't close the gap when you were in turn. I was like, shh. I'm like, so
keeping it together.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, man. That was awesome. Chicago, we have Henry in the network. Did you say last name?
Last name is Lutz.
Henry Lutz. Mizio Henry Lutz.
Yes, yes, sir.
He's in the network. If you see him, don't be a stranger.
For sure.
He wears a 606 jersey.
Yeah.
That means he's a real deal. He's a mean machine guy on the bike. What bike do you ride?
Right now, I'm on a Factor Austro.
Oh, so you're a Factor guy, huh?
Yeah.
So remember Evo.
Yeah. No, Evo.
Spine.
Evo hooked it up for sure.
he's the man.
Yeah.
He's the man. So Factor is one day I hope to own a Factor. I tell Evo whenever I get like a really. Because almost all my bikes are rim brake. Mm-hmm. So whenever I switch over to disc brake, it's going to be a Factor.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to jump on that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, guys, we have Henry in the network. Don't be a stranger to him. He won't be a stranger to you.
Absolutely.
He's a nice guy. He's here. He's from Milwaukee. So we're neighbors.
Of course.
And he's in network. And he makes it goes and he makes it fun. So guys, as we close out, keep the miles and smiles going. Until we meet again, one love.